How to make $100,000 your first year in real estate, or if you're already in real estate and you want to add another $100,000 to your income, this is the presentation for you. Julie and I are going to be going through point by point all the immediate action items that every single real estate agent needs to be taking. And really, these points are incredibly relevant because of these quick changes that are happening in the housing market. Now, before we get to our first point, Julie, I want you to share with them. You sent me a email you got that was from a mortgage company. I don't remember the details. You remember the name of it?
It was from Black Knight.
Black Knight, that's right. And they were talking about, well, you pick it up from there. You were wanting to cite, for the sake of our listeners, some interesting tidbits that this long-winded, sort of breathy report was talking about with regards to housing.
Yes, well, they're full of their charts and graphs, and of course, I dig that stuff. So mainly because it's accurate and it shows a very clear picture. And the thing that I noticed probably most prominently is we have to watch our thinking, especially amongst agents and brokers who have only been in a hot seller's market. And if we're being honest, that's been for more than a decade. But we have to watch our thinking that we understand the difference between houses being more expensive month over month, year over year at a slower rate, okay, a smaller rate of appreciation or inflation, call it what you will, versus what's the difference between that and prices deflating or depreciating, because it is not the same thing.
So depreciation is what we experienced back in the housing crash for the 4 of you listening, and there's tens of thousands that will listen to today's podcast. And that was about 15 years ago. Now, Julie said if you've only been in the business 10 years or less, you've only sold in a hot seller's market. And that is virtually all of you. We know because we definitely track the analytics for our podcast and YouTube channel. So you've not gone through a market like this. Well, guess what? You're not alone. None of us have. We are now in uncharted territory, uncharted for the economy, uncharted for every single human that's alive. The only thing that we have that's of historical significance to what's going on specifically as pertains to inflation is way back in the late 70s and the early 80s. But guess what? It now seems like we're on track to even have a worse inflation rate than even back then. So this is something that has not been experienced before in the way that it's been experienced. So you really do need to drill down on what Julie's going to be presenting to all of you guys today. But the important thing that she said, really important thing that she said that I'm hoping has really registered with you, there is a huge difference between deflation, and that is essentially when things are losing value, real estate, or inflation when things are continuing to increase in value, real estate, as pertains to what all of us do. So what Julie just said was that there will be a slowing of the inflation of real estate. There won't be any deflation. Or if you want to manipulate it like a lot of headline writers are doing, there's a deflating effect on the inflation of homes. In other words, homes are still increasing in value. That's how convoluted it is, guys. Homes are still increasing in value, just not at the same clip that they've been increasing in value over the past few years. But I'm here to tell you that still ain't bad.
No, it's not bad at all, in fact. And that's why I like the charts and graphs, because the headline will say something like, home prices falling, and then it'll cite that, 3 paragraphs later that 15% of the inventory had at least one price reduction after 2 weeks. Well, big deal. So what? That's not even close to normal.
How about the one we heard yesterday? We had one of our coaching clients send us a podcast interview, and we listened to about 10 minutes of it.
Yeah.
And the guy was really not understanding the facts and the statistics that he was reading off. He'd never sold real estate in frankly a changing market, let alone a buyer's market. So he didn't understand that 22 days in the market is really not the end of the world. And so he was like panicking almost in his voice. You could hear it, that the average days on the market, I had to laugh, and his market had gone from 11 days to 22 days. Who gives a rat's ass, guys? That is still nothing. When Julie and I sold real estate, or anybody that's been in real estate for, again, 10 years or longer, the average days in the market in the country was, for a while, months and months. When we sold real estate, the average days in the market was 141 days. And we were thrilled when we could keep our average days in the market to just about 90 days. We used that as a USP, or unique selling proposition, when we were in listing presentations. Mr. Seller, when you list with Julie and I, it'll only take 91 days. So you guys really have to be careful who you're listening to in a market like this. And the reality of it is a shifting market, a changing market, creates so many more opportunities than the past market we are in. Because guess what? What you're going to see is the reversal of all the things that really were in play, and we're going to talk about that today. over the next really probably 3 or 4 years. Now, I want to caution you on a couple of things. Number one, be careful that you're not getting mired in the negativity. Keep your mindset focused on the fact that there's never been a market where you've had more opportunity to be of service to more people. And if you want more reasons to be enthusiastic, how about this? Not only will listings start to expire, that'll create more opportunities for you. For sale by owners won't be able to sell their houses as easily. That'll create more opportunities for you. But do you think commissions go up or down in a market like this? Well, I'll answer the question for you in case you don't know. They go up. So you're going to have more opportunity for, with more different types of clients. Your greatest competitor in the past, who's been basically the agent that they know from church or that they play golf with, in other words, the seller or even the buyer weren't that selective who they were going to do business with. Those agents, if they didn't get their skill set amplified or increased for their market like this, they're not going to be getting that easy business anymore. And any seasoned agent will tell you their biggest competitor is not another top producing seasoned agent. Their biggest competitor are new agents or agents that are, essentially just selling a handful of houses per year. When Julie and I sold real estate, we sold 100 to 200 homes per year for almost 10 years. We very, very, very rarely competed with another agent that was producing on our level. It was almost always with agents were like what I just described. Well, those are the agents, if they don't increase their skill set, are going to be out of the market. Moral of the story is, in a market like this, more opportunity is going to be available to you, provided you have the skill set to seize the opportunity. And it all starts with the mindset of being of service. So, Julie, let's jump right in.
Yes. So again, agents and brokers listening, these are 5 simple steps how to make $100,000 or more your first year in real estate, and or add on 100,000 or more if you've already got some runway there. All right. So first, it might surprise you what you don't have to do to accomplish that goal. You do not have to be born into a real estate family. You do not have to have a huge marketing budget, be a social media whiz, be super social and know thousands of people, be part of a team, buy all of your real estate leads, build your brand, or toil away on endless cold calls. This is just a short list of what you don't have to do, and I could go on, but that gives you an idea.
Did you? I think you did. You don't have to be an extrovert. Nope. You don't have to be part of a team or build a team. You don't have to, I'm adding to Julie's list. Julie said you don't have to build your brand. You don't have to, be a marketing expert, worry about your funnels. You really don't have to do any of those things in a market like this, because the opportunities to help people, in other words, the home sellers out there that need your help selling homes, they are plentiful. If you want a reason to be motivated and excited, go to your MLS and look to see the increasing number of not just days in the market, but the number of expireds. The number of expireds are going to go through the roof towards the end of this year into next year. Be excited about that, because if you have the skill set to go after those expireds, you are going to create some market momentum that you could have only dreamt of. And the easiest way for you to learn how to go after those expireds is to join Premier Coaching. And guess what? Premier Coaching is 100% free. You can join our award-winning coaching program, you heard me right, for free. Just text the word Premier to 47372. Text the word Premier to 47372. Or if you prefer not to text, or if you're outside of the continental United States, just go to members.timandjulieharris.com, members.timandjulieharris.com. And yes, the Premier Coaching does include a daily semi-private coaching session. It does include our scripts, objection handlers, the 90-day massive action plan, the real estate treasure map. All these are books and guides that you get for free. In addition to that, did I mention that you have instant access to a private coaching session with one of our Harris certified coaches, and you also get access to our exclusive members only community pages. Do not delay, guys. This is the next natural step for all of you. It costs you nothing to join Premier Coaching. Do not use that as an excuse. You absolutely positively want to take action on this now. So text the word Premier to 47372, or just go to members.timandjulieharris.com. Remember, if texting, message, and data rates may apply.
That's right. So let's drill down and see what actually matters in real estate to get you to that first or next 100,000 in your pocket. So point number 1, have a definite goal. How many transactions will it take in your market to earn 100,000 in gross commission income? For most of you, it's about a deal a month based on a realistic average sale price of about 400,000. Adjust accordingly if your market is more or less expensive, but that gives you a pretty good realistic base.
Now, obviously, that has to do with where you're brokering too. So we are huge advocates, and we're part of eXp Realty. And at eXp Realty, you're going to keep a majority of your commission a majority of the time. So if you're looking for a place to maximize the return on your efforts, which frankly you absolutely positively should be, you definitely should be considering eXp Realty. Julie and I would love to talk with you about joining us at eXp Realty. Yes, Julie and I are offering to be your sponsors at eXp Realty. It would be our honor to do so. You can text me directly at 512 text. Don't call 512-758-0206. 512-758-0206.
That's right. Good point, because, it could be the difference between having to sell 18 homes a year versus 12 or 15 or something like that, depending on where you're brokering.
Well, since you brought that up, I've had so many calls about agents joining eXp Realty in the, past few years where they don't know what they're paying their broker, and they have no clue how much money they have paid their broker in the last few years. I could give you examples, and listeners, you wouldn't believe it. But oftentimes you'll be on some commission split and you'll think, well, I'm on a 90-10, I'm an 85-15 or whatever it is. But that doesn't include all the extra things the broker's tacking on top of that. For example, there's the 6% annual fee, and there's the this fee, and there's the that fee, and there's the royalty fee, and all these other Mickey Mouse expenses. And usually what you'll find is you're on a 70-30 or worse. And I find a lot of times new agents think they have to suffer being on a 50-50. Do not do that. You work too hard for your money. There's enough reasons with inflation nowadays. There's enough other things demanding your money. You don't need to overpay a broker. That's really the bottom line. That's job number one. Doesn't matter if you've been in the business forever, if you're a new agent, you have to maximize your return on the investment of your time selling real estate.
You just made me remember when we were interviewing as new agents, and we thought that we had the right brokerage picked out just based on probably nothing. And we were interviewing with them, and they were like getting up to get coffee, and they said, and then you're going to be on this 50-50 split. And you and I looked at each other, not even knowing that much about how hard it was going to be, but speculating that we were going to work our butts off because we were pretty motivated, right? And we were like, why would you do that? And we left and went to a better option. So I think a lot of new agents don't even realize that they have choices. So talk to us about that. All right, so have a definite goal. Now, Napoleon Hill's first success principle is called definiteness of purpose. This means that you must be very specific about your goal and have a plan to achieve it. You can't just say, I want to earn more money, or I want to quit my real job when I make enough money in real estate. That's all great, but it's not specific. So state the goal using the SMART goal system that we teach you in Premier Coaching. Goals have to be specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, and timely. For example, $100,000 earned by this date, doing this many transactions, following this plan. That's specific. So, definiteness of purpose. Point number 2, don't spend money you don't have speculating on things that don't work. You'll never actually keep the profit you intend to keep if you pre-spend it on things that are not predictable or duplicatable. So there's a lot that goes into that bucket.
Well, let's define that. So anything that you're being tempted to spend your money on, and that is what real estate's full of: branding, marketing, lead buying, working on your logo, working on your this and the other things,
getting a TikTok coach.
I say logo like that because it always makes Julie laugh. Working on your TikTok videos, doing all this other stuff. If there is not a direct, undeniable relationship between the effort and the money spent and the result, do not do it in a market like this. Do not be speculating on things that may someday, hopefully, if all the stars align, make you money. Only do the things where effort equals results. Now, I'll even make it better than that. If what you're thinking about spending money on does not make you money, does not return your investment at what I would suggest to be a 3 to 5x rate in less than 90 days, don't do it. That's a very specific rule, and Julie and I follow that in our own business. If we cannot see a direct line between the money spent and the return on that investment, if whoever it is that's trying to sell us their whiz-bang idea cannot, and this would be, for example, people trying to sell us SEO, people trying to sell us branding, people, and I ask the same questions of them when, I'm interviewing them, or when our president, Tom, is, that we're suggesting you guys use when interviewing other people. How long will it take for me to actually see a return on this investment? And you'll see the people that are selling, frankly, snake oil will be the least likely to give you a real specific, an answer, because they don't know, or they do know, and the answer is never. Or the answer is, well, if you do it long enough, maybe one day you'll have a deal fall in your lap. Do not do speculative stuff. And this always falls into the realm of lead generation. This is the reason Julie and I want you desperately to be a proactive lead generator, not a passive lead generator. A passive lead generator is somebody that's hoping and praying that one day, hopefully, maybe somebody's going to call them and want to do a deal with them. That's, for example, doing direct mail, doing any sort of, social marketing. That's doing a lot of centers of influence and past client tchotchke dropping offing. All these types of things that you guys are seduced into believing is going to get you business. Why don't you instead do the proactive stuff, especially in a market like this where there are tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands, millions of homeowners that are going to want to hire people that have the skill set. Stop worrying about the branding. Start focusing on the skills. Next point, Julie.
Next point is number 3. Using your real estate treasure map, create, and most importantly, follow your proactive dollar productive schedule. The most important thing for you to do every single workday is to have real conversations with real prospects about real estate. If you need 12 transactions, you need 12 conversations daily.
Stop. That was really powerful, what she said. So you're going to finish your real estate treasure map. You're going to determine for you to meet or exceed all your financial, your have-tos and your want-tos, basically. And we explain you how to do this in the real estate treasure map, which you get as part of Premier Coaching. You'll determine, and whatever your number is, it's going to be different, but you need 12 transactions, 12 deals per year. That is your magic number. 12 is the magic number. Well, here's the weird psychology that we sort of stumbled upon, and I still don't understand it, to be honest, but here it is. If your magic number is 12 units per year where you're making $10,000 per transaction, let's say, if you make 12 meaningful contacts with the intent of setting an appointment every single day, if it's 10 that you have, your magic number is 10, make 10. If it's 5 because you have a really nice sale price or really low overhead, then make 5. If it's 20, you guys get the point. When your magic number matches the number of contacts you make every single day, you are subconsciously reinforcing the activity, and that will get you the results.
It's pretty much impossible not to when you follow that formula.
It's crazy, right?
I know. We won't even try to explain it, but we absolutely 1,000% know that it's true. So focus on past clients, centers of influence, expireds, unrepresented owners, known as for sale by owners, and open house leads. Stay away from circle prospecting, paid leads, internet leads, and other unpredictable low quality lead sources.
Now let's talk about that. A lot of you have, I'm learning how to do this. I have, some VAs that are doing circle prospecting, or, you're basically cold calling around a listing or whatever. And that's not going to be a very high yield activity. Why would you call the people that already have their hand in the air saying, yes, I want to sell my house? Why would you bother calling people that don't have their house for sale when you can call people who are already self-identifying themselves as wanting to buy a house or wanting to sell a house? You guys get it? And the reason that Julie and I focus primarily on sellers is not that we don't love buyers. We do. It's that the buyer leads come from the sellers. Buyer leads are easier to get than you can possibly imagine. If you have one listing, and it doesn't matter what the market's like, it could even be a complete buyer's market. You have one listing, you have to, as our broker Rory used to say, beat the buyers off with a stick. One listing will generate sometimes dozens of buyer leads. Mm-hmm. And how many of those buyer leads in your market are actually going to also have homes to sell? But it starts with being a listing agent. It just makes sense, doesn't it? And no, you don't have to join a team. No, you don't have to wait to sell a whole bunch of houses and be in the market forever before you become a listing agent. No, you don't have to do all the things that you're probably being told you have to do. You can become a listing agent right now. And if you've been building your business over the past few years, primarily based on buyer leads, and you want to become a listing agent, you have chosen the right time, because there's going to be more opportunities to become a listing agent, provided you know how to solve the seller's problems. That is getting the home sold in this market. You are going to make a fortune.
Point number 4, use whiteboards and track all of your key performance indicators. Those are KPIs, key performance indicators. Track your listing leads, your active listings, your pendings, and your closings. Your boards will literally tell you what you need to do based on the white space on the board. Okay, visual accountability works extremely well. If you need 3 listings at all times to for sure sell 1 per month, write on your listings board number 1, number 2, number 3, and don't stop until you have 3 active listings. Now, when one of those actives becomes pending, you erase it from the active board, you write it on the pendings board, and now you've made that white space. You look at your board, it tells you you need that 3rd listing. keeps it super simple.
So you go and you complete your real estate treasure map. You get that as part of Premier Coaching. Premier Coaching then, through doing the real estate treasure map, you're going to know what your magic number of actual transactions is, the number of homes you have to sell every single year to meet or exceed your financial goals. Well, guess what? That is what the information is that's going to go on your dry erase boards. One dry erase board is for closed transactions. One dry erase board is for your active listings, and one dry erase board is for your buyers, if you choose to have a buyer's board at all. And that listing, so for example, if you need 10 listings at all times, you're going to take a permanent marker and you're going to label your listings board. You're going to number it 1 through 10. And if you walk in your office all high as a kite because you just had a big closing, but you look up at your board and you realize you only have 3 listings and you need 10 or whatever your number is, well, that's going to really level your emotions off and get you back to work. Now, I know some of you are saying, Tim, I have all this fancy CRM and I have a
spreadsheets.
Elon Musk and I are using Starlink right now to create some very complicated 14-stage, CRM, KPI, blah, 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 blah. You should see my graphs and my charts and this is amazing. Come look. No. If you put all of that into a app or in any form on your phone or your computer, you are going to hide from the numbers that you don't want to see.
They're literally out of sight, out of mind.
Exactly. That's the reason Julie and I, it doesn't matter how experienced or how technically advanced you are, we strongly encourage, we have an online business. We have always been, this coaching business has been around for decades, always been online, and we use dry erase boards. Every single one of our top producing agents use dry erase boards. And it's not because there aren't perhaps superior ways to organize your information, but there is not a superior way for you to be accountable to the information that you're attempting to organize. That is the bottom line.
Well, that's right. And when you are a Premier Coaching member, as soon as you sign up, one of the first modules you're going to see is a serious drill down on how just brilliantly this whole visual accountability works.
Definitely.
Including some examples and exactly how to label your boards. And one of the things that our coaching clients do is they go to the daily semi-private coaching sessions and they literally post, here is my before and after picture. This is what my boards look like. This is how I'm using them. And the other thing that's super cool about the whiteboard boards or the whiteboards is that they're really fluid along with the market. So for example, I'll give you an example of a call that I had today. They've gone from 10 actives at all times to now 21 actives at all times. They're building their listing inventory, which is exciting. It's a fantastic byproduct of this changing market, okay? Because now they can lead generate off of all those listings. Well, 2 or 3 weeks from now, if they're still sitting with those same 21 listings and their pendings board is showing the white space, what does that tell them? Time for some price adjustments, right? Your boards tell you what to do. Now, a month from now, maybe instead they're going to have the pendings board full because they're still selling their listings quickly. Then the white space is on the listing board. It literally tells you what to do based on the market conditions. Okay, point number 5. Become the best in your market at proactive lead generation, furiously fast lead follow-up, pre-qualifying, and presenting. Now, nothing else matters. And when you are great at those things, the rest can be learned or delegated. Yet, if you're terrible at those things, proactive lead generation, following up furiously, pre-qualifying, and presenting, the rest is irrelevant. So spend your time on what matters. There's a whole chapter in Harris Rules, our book that they can easily find, and maybe they can find it in the link. There's a whole chapter about being the best at what actually matters and leaving the rest of it alone.
That's right. And if you've not received or gotten our Harris Rules, best-selling Harris Rules book, it is available everywhere, every major bookseller, Barnes & Noble, and of course it's available on Audible and it's available on Amazon. So that is a great book to read. It's not just for new agents, it's for really, really experienced agents. It's over 500 5-star reviews on Amazon. And the thing that you'll learn the most, I think that people really like about the book the most, is that really cuts, what's the subtitle? That your no BS guide to how to get rich or something. I forget, something like that. But what it is that it's not fluff. Julie and I are not going to work on your mindset or any of these other things. Those things may have a benefit to you, but at this point in this market, it's all about drilling down. It's all about staying focused and not focused on a bunch of different things, focused on a handful of things. And we talked about this in the show yesterday. The handful of things are the 3 to 5 things that you have to master every day. But Julie Harris just told you essentially what they were. They are number 1, proactive lead generation. Number 2, furiously fast lead follow-up. Number 3, pre-qualifying and presenting. If those are the only things that you get really good at as a real estate professional, you will will be right as rain. Everything else you can delegate or not do in the first place. And that does include a vast majority of the things that are staring back at you on your to-do list. Remember what I said, are those things going to lead directly to a paycheck? Chances are they're not. But I know proactive lead generation will, so do you. I know furiously fast lead follow-up will, so do you. I know pre-qualifying and presenting will definitely lead to a quick paycheck in 90 days or less, and so do you. So let's stop hiding from the facts. Let's start getting to work. Make this changing, shifting market your market. It's kind of, redundant or almost overstated at this point, but many of you will have more success now because of this market than you ever would have had in the previous market, because you're going to have an unfair advantage. The unfair advantage is you're going to have skills. What's the next natural step for all of you? Obviously, join Premier Coaching. The link to how to join Premier Coaching is right there in the description of this podcast or YouTube, depending on how you are consuming this content at present. Thank you for continuing to make our podcast the #1 listened to daily podcast for real estate professionals in the United States. Make sure also that you're going back and listening and watching all of our past presentations. If you're looking for education, if you're looking for motivation, hopefully you will agree with thousands of others that are watching and listening to us every single day that nothing is better than our presentations. And I think a lot of you will agree also that once you are listening to the presentations, once you actually have accepted the fact that you can be successful, maybe more successful than you ever could have dreamed of because of this market, that's where you're going to find a positive, powerful mindset. That's where you're going to find your enthusiasm. And that's where you're going to finally find the success, the true, meaningful, long-term success that all of you have dreamed of. And we look forward to being part of your lives and your business and professional life as you achieve those things. Have a fantastic day. We'll talk with you on the podcast tomorrow.